There was an old lumberjack that was stronger than any man that would ever come into the woods or forests with him. And all the men would just oftentimes sit around and be mesmerized at how quick he would chop these trees right in half and right to the ground. He was considered to be the new age Paul Bunyan. And everybody would shout his praise and his glory because he could do almost half of the work himself. And these men just couldn't be any happier to be a part of his crew. All until this one day, this young buck, prideful, full of ego, steps into the arena and says, "Ha, this man thinks he can out-chop me. Look at him. He's old and feeble by now. I will be the next one to take over, and I can outdo him any day." So all the men said, "All right, challenge accepted. Let's see who really has, the true strength. Who can really do more work in less time or in the same amount of time." So they both agreed to the terms, and they both had from sun up to sundown to go into the woods and hack and chop as many trees as possible. The old man sets out, goes into his half of the woods. The young buck, muscular as all can be, strong as can be, sets out into his side of the woods. And little by little, all the men started just hearing whack, whack, grsh, grsh, trees just falling left and right. Just insane how fast these two were just going to town. I mean, these two together would clear the entire woods without the other men even having to pick up an axe. So they're excited. And as the day went on, the young man continually kept noticing that all of a sudden, the older man on his side of the woods, it was completely silent. And not only was it silent, but there was no trees being cut. There was nothing even happening. And this would go on throughout the entire day. So every time he would hear a pause or a moment of silence, he thought to himself, this is my moment to really take the reins and to really step it up. I'm going to push 10 times harder. I'm young and youthful and I have all the energy in the world. So he started just hacking and hacking and hacking. And he's cutting one tree after another. And he's thinking to himself, this guy, he better get to work. Like, there's no way he's going to be able to keep up. Like, if he's taking all these breaks at his old age and I'm chopping every time he's taking a break, there's no way. So by the end of the night, the sun goes down and all the men are carrying and hauling all the wood that they just chopped down. And they're stacking it side by side, one row for the young buck, one row for the old man. And all at once, the crew started hauling out tree after tree from the old man's side to the point where it's stacked high as can be. But the young man's, his was so high that every one of them just sat there like, he did this all on his own. And the young buck, for a moment, thought, well, clearly I got this. My side is stacked way higher than his. But yet he realized that there was still an entire crew way off into the woods still carrying trees back. As these men finally came out of the woods, he saw the amount of trees that they had, and he looked with complete disbelief because he knew that when those trees got added to his side of the bundle, that he absolutely just crushed them. And the kid just sat here like, I don't get this. Like, you were taking breaks. Like, I didn't stop once. Like, I continued to cut, continued to chop. Like, how did you do this? And he said, you see here, young buck, he says, every time I took a break, I took that time to begin to sharpen my blade. And not only did I sharpen my blade, but I rested my bones and I rested my body as to where when I got back up, I could do just as much work as it took you to continually push your way through. And the kid was just like, holy cow, I have so much more to learn. And think about that lesson alone, right? As we're young, we think we can take on anything, or we think we know everything, and we're the smartest there is, and nobody can teach us anything. But we literally need to still take time to slow down, sharpen our blades. In other words, sharpen our brains and sharpen where we're at and continually learn everything we can to advance ourselves in the best way possible, and to be able to take in from those around us the lessons that we can, and not put ourselves out there trying to be better or outdo everyone else, because it takes a team and it takes an effort of everybody coming together to make things happen. And the more we can sharpen our blades and the more we can take that time to learn from where we're at, that is where we're going to excel. And that choice is up to each and every one of us.